NMH at 1 highlights the news making waves ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the headlines. Former Police Chief Sebastian Ndeitunga appointed as Governor of Ohangwena Region. Swakopmund contract workers are up in arms over non-payment for the past 3 months. Legislation to safeguard Namibia against cybercrime, and Windhoek residents urged to look into urban agriculture. I am Diana Master, midday news update coming right up. President Hage Geingob has appointed former Police Inspector General Sebastian Ndeitunga as Governor of Ohangwena Region. Geingob thanked former Governor Ndeitunga, whose fate is currently unknown. In another update, Lisa Figaji, Section Head Investment Promotion, Business Development and Liaison, City of Windhoek, has encouraged Windhoek residents to look at urban agriculture to expand their basket. She spoke during the launch of the Namibia Trade Network. Jemima Bekus was there.
The city, as a responsible, people-centric institution, is also looking at urban agriculture and agro-processing. With the work that we did in the economic development strategy framework, we realized that the citizen needs to be able to be proactive in creating a basket to sustain themselves and their families. And we would really like to promote, and also we would like to encourage all residents to look at the opportunities around urban agriculture and see how, at a household level, that can support the opportunities and the circular economies that we also have in terms of sustainable development for our residents.
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into our visual news, contract workers are up in arms due to non-payment for the past 3 months. The contractors who are working on a new school in Swakopmund say their work has been hindered due to a lack of material and payment. Workers are pleading with the main contractors August 26 to address the matter or speak to subcontractors to release funds. Regional Director of Education Infrida Stefanus promised to look into the matter and provide further feedback. Precious Ndeitunga reports.
My name is Johannes Afoli. I'm staying in Swakop. So I do the construction work. So I find myself at this point suffering where I work. Then I did not get anything. When I'm talking about anything, it's about money. Because I work to get money. So it becomes difficult to me and tough to survive. We can't find the owner of the work. Sometimes he's saying he's not in the country. And the last word we receive, we must wait until the project finish. Which this project we're going to finish by next year or March or April. We already suffer working almost 3 to 2 months, 3 months. We did not get anything. And yet we have to wait until after 2 or 3 months. That there's kids in the school which they are doing writing exam. We don't want to affect the exam of the kids. We don't want to affect the work of the teachers. But if the government see this, he must take an action to answer us. August 26, wherever they are, they must respond to our problem. They must find the one who give this project, and we want to know, according to them, how they feel as to wait until the project finishes with its next year, so that we can get the money.
August 26 is having a main contractor. Main contractor is subcontracting others, so that the job is equally distributed. And that's why we are also saying that they should get people from the local people should be employed, not bringing someone from outside. So if there is a problem, let's deal with the problem. And if people are not paid, then it should be addressed. It should be addressed. So I'll take it up with the main contractor. We will call in the subcontractors. We will see whether they were not paid and what is the issues behind that.
Stick around. Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Let's take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. The Electricity Control Board says it will forge ahead with the establishment of a central regional electricity distributor, despite hesitancy from the city of Windhoek, which has resisted efforts to join any such body. The city, which is entangled in a separate fight with Ongos Valley Development over the latter's plan to produce its own electricity, is concerned that a red would force it to subsidize rural electricity consumers in the Commerce region. ECB CEO Robert Kayamisa stressed the importance of the establishment of a central red, arguing that despite the city's resistance, declining revenue margins may render Windhoek unable to effectively and efficiently provide electricity to its residents in the long term. On Namibian Sun's page 2, two pieces of legislation said to be tabled by the Information and Communication Technology Ministry will protect Namibia against mass cybercrime. Speaking during a cybersecurity incident response team induction initiative yesterday, Executive Director Audrine Mate said Namibia has observed an increase in misuse of available internet platforms by criminals to carry out cyber attacks and recorded 2.7 million such attacks last year. The ministry is preparing to table two pieces of legislation in Parliament that will give impetus to the work of CSIRT, Mate said. Moving over to the front page of the Republican, the 44 Dutch Reformed Church congregations in Namibia will have to decide by March 2025 whether they will walk away from their General Synod, which wants to leave room for same-sex marriages to be solemnized in these churches. These churches are commonly known as NG Clerk. The Namibian Moderamen executive body of a synod in NG churches and delegates decided after a day-long meeting on Tuesday, 7 November, that the body intends to withdraw from its current relationship with the GS. This decision would be made as per Article 37 of the NG Church Order. Defense Minister Frans Kapofi says his ministry is pursuing individuals who received 2.5 million Namibian dollars from military company August 26 Logistics for the purchase of military equipment. The monies were paid over to supplier Penda Enterprises to enable it to procure military equipment under supposed confidential circumstances, following a request made to August 26 Logistics Board chairperson at the time, Major General Petrus Nathinge. According to the Ohangwena Zeitung, unlike in previous cases, which resulted in the killing of desert-adapted lions that were quickly classified as alleged problem animals, this time the aid organization Desert Lions Human Relations Aid does not want to allow the lion Mwezi to simply be a forgotten device. As one of the last black-manned male desert lions, Mwezi was shot as a trophy in a conservancy on October 11th. The government struggles to monitor and enforce mining licenses and environmental regulations. Officials at the Ministry of Mines and Energy are under pressure to regularly visit large licensed areas and crack down on abandoned mining sites, while the Office of the Environmental Commissioner has only 7 officers dedicated to ensuring compliance with environmental management plans and the conditions attached to the environmental permits. We'll now take a quick ad break and return with the second half of our newspaper review.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Let's move on with our newspaper review segment. Environmentalists have strongly cautioned against a proposed plan that intends to construct a green hydrogen pipeline from Namibia's Ohangwena Region to Boegoebaai in South Africa's Northern Cape province. This, according to the Namibian, is because they're concerned about the pipeline's potential impact on indigenous communities, cherished national parks, animals and plants which inhabit the Namibian coast, which has been declared the 8th largest marine protected area in the world and the largest in Africa. The Namibia Defence Force has deployed 17 troops to support the country's peace missions abroad. Defence Minister Frans Kapofi shared this update during a briefing in Windhoek on Monday, adding that 7 officers remain stationed in the Southern African Development Community region in the DRC. Commerce regional health authorities have recorded a significant increase in diabetes figures from 6,403 in 2022 to 10,802 for the 2023 period at public hospitals around the region. Diabetologist Helene Samuel from the Windhoek Central Hospital said statistics indicate that as a result of diabetes, 24 amputations were done at the hospital and 54 at the Katutura Intermediate Hospital. We have in total 10,802 persons who have been diagnosed already, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So the figures might be higher, and diabetes mellitus type 2 accounts for 90% of the cases, said Samuel on the occasion of World Diabetes Day yesterday. President Hage Geingob has urged traditional leaders to intensify their role as community leaders against unfair inheritance practices as well as gender-based violence in the country. The head of state made the plea through his message conveyed by Vice President Nangolo Mbumba during the opening of the 24th annual meeting of the Council of Traditional Leaders currently underway in Swakopmund. Moving over to Market Watch, Madison Metals Incorporated has successfully renewed exclusive prospecting license 7011 within the Madison North project area adjacent to the internationally renowned Rossing uranium mine in the Irongo uranium province of Namibia. Now, the Labour Ministry has identified a persistent lack of adherence to compensation for overtime and work carried out on Sundays and public holidays. Stay with NMH at 1 for this story and more coming up after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In today's economic news, the Labour Ministry has identified a persistent lack of adherence to compensation for overtime and work carried out on Sundays and public holidays, among several other issues. It also flagged non-adherence to collective agreements, prevention of unauthorized deductions from employee remuneration, proper provision of sick leave, and the timely payment of remuneration as other challenges facing the sector. In a quarterly report for June to September, the Office of the Labour Commissioner noted that the Ministry dealt with 1,082 labour labor complaints during the quarter, primarily focused on unsettled remuneration. As a result, an amount of 594,813 Namibian dollars was collected by the ministry on behalf of the affected employees. Employers should adopt a manner of honoring their obligations by paying rightfully what is due to their employees, it said. It added that the ministry is in the process of developing the third national employment policy. It has contracted the Labour Resource and Research Institute with assistance from the International Labour Organization to spearhead the policy's development process and has already submitted a draft situational analysis report. Let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 22.72 to the British pound, 19.82 to the euro, 18.22 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 52 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. MTC stocks took an upturn of 12.50%, while the rest of the selected NSX stock closing prices maintained. Local index closed on an upturn of 1.77%, overall index closed on an upturn of 3.17%. Looking at commodities, all commodities are up save for Brent crude oil, which took a dip of 0.39%, now trading at $82.58 per barrel. Google navigation apps Waze and Google Maps will no longer guide users through Cape Town's Nyanga Township and nearby areas. We find out the reasons right after the break as we get into news from the African continent.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent right here on NMH at 1. Google navigation apps Waze and Google Maps will no longer guide users through Cape Town's Nyanga Township and nearby areas due to increased security concerns, announced Alistair Ohangwena, the company's South Africa head, on Monday. Last week, a US tourist was robbed and shot in the face in Nyanga after following the navigation app's route, which directed him through the township as the quickest path from Cape Town International Airport to the city. In September, British surgeon Ka Hao To, aged 40, was fatally shot during a protest by taxi operators in the same township. Local media report that additional individuals, mostly tourists, have been attacked or killed while driving through Nyanga, often after heeding the advice of navigation apps. Following Teo's tragic incident, the UK government issued a warning to its citizens visiting South Africa, urging caution when relying on GPS navigation and advising against taking alternative routes away from main roads, as these routes can lead to less secure areas. The advisory highlighted that most violent crimes occur in townships on the outskirts of major cities or in isolated areas. Getting into our next story, Liberians were voting on Tuesday to decide whether to hand former football star George Weah a second term as president despite a mixed record, or elect political veteran Joseph Boakai. Turnout appeared lower than in the first round of voting on October 10th, with shorter queues outside polling centers around the capital, Monrovia, an AFP journalist saw. By late morning, voting was taking place peacefully and there were no reports of major incidents or violence. I want to commend the peace we see at all polling stations. We salute the Liberian people, Neves Mumba, a former vice president of Zambia, now leading the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa, told AFP at a polling center in the suburb of Painesville. The runoff is expected to be close between the rivals who also faced off in 2017 when Weah won in the second round with more than 61%. We'll now take a quick ad break and return with international news. The Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza has been bombed once again by Israeli forces. Israel's attacks on Al-Shifa started just hours after the United States-backed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's claim that the facility is a hub for Hamas. Israeli forces entered the enclave's largest hospital on Wednesday, targeting a Hamas command center they say is located below thousands of ailing and sheltering civilians. The Israel Defense Forces published what it said was proof of Hamas tunnels and infrastructure beneath the surface at Al-Shifa, which it said justifies the bombing of hospitals where Palestinians are seeking refuge and treatment in their thousands. Doctors, human rights experts, and analysts have rejected similar claims made by Israel and reiterated that hospitals are protected under international humanitarian law, according to Al Jazeera. The spokesman for the Ministry of Health in Gaza, Ashraf Al-Qudra, said there are only doctors, patients, and displaced people inside Al-Shifa hospital. Hamas said in a statement on Wednesday that it holds Israel and US President Joe Biden fully responsible for Al-Shifa raid. The United Nations estimates that at least 2,300 patients, staff, and displaced civilians are inside the facility, trapped by days of fierce fighting and aerial bombardments. In our next story, handcuffs during pregnancy, separation from newborn babies, and insufficient care for elderly inmates are among the abuses suffered by women incarcerated in Japan, Human Rights Watch said on Tuesday. Female inmates are sometimes shackled during labor and immediately after birth, the international NGO alleged in a new report based on interviews with nearly 60 formerly jailed women. Japan's Ministry of Justice denied some of the claims, saying that restraints are not used when imprisoned women are breastfeeding, holding, bathing, or changing the baby's diapers, according to the report. It also said that appropriate medical measures are taken for prisoners. According to HRW, new mothers also often have their babies taken away from them soon after birth. Stick around after the break. We'll be back with news from the world of sports.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In local sports news this afternoon, Namibia's Brave Warriors will face Equatorial Guinea in the host capital Malabo today in the World Cup qualifier match at 2 p.m. Brave Warriors head gaffer Colin Benjamin said the team has focused on beefing up their physicality and conditioning. He underlined that the match will be tough and the team has to bring their A game. The Namibia Chess Federation has received a 500,000 Namibian dollar sponsorship from Bank Windhoek for their development programs as well as national tournaments for 2023-2024. Jacqueline Park, Executive Officer of Marketing and Corporate Communication Services at Bank Windhoek, made the announcement yesterday at the Nictus Cultural Center in Windhoek. The 11 Morning Stars field next to Andimba Toivoya Airport at Ondangwa will host the 5th annual Okapia football tournament from the 21st to the 24th of December. Right after this break, we bring you international sports news.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Starting us off in our international sports news, Sharks beating Connacht in their first home game on Saturday is imperative if they want to stay clear of the point of no return, but if historical precedent is anything to go on, they can still recover from their disastrous start to the season and win the Vodacom United Rugby Championship. Matilda was picked as Australia's Word of the Year after the national football team's historic run to the semi-finals of their home Women's World Cup. The team were front and back page news in Australia in July and August as they reached the last four of the World Cup. Aston Villa defender Ezri Konsa was about to book a holiday prior to receiving his first England call-up, but said on Tuesday he knew his chance to shine on the international stage would come. Konsa has been a key part of Villa's rise under Unai Emery over the past year. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
You're watching NMH at 1, and if you're just joining us, here are the news highlights from today's broadcast. Google navigation apps Waze and Google Maps will no longer guide users through Cape Town's Younger Township and nearby areas due to increased security concerns, announced Alistair Mogoena, the company's South Africa head, on Monday. The Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza has been bombed again by Israeli forces. Israel's attacks on Al-Shifa started just hours after the United States-backed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's claim that the facility is a hub for Hamas. In local sports, the Brave Warriors are looking to get their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign off to a good start against Equatorial Guinea in Malabo. And those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. That's it from all of us here in studio. We do wish you a lovely Wednesday ahead.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.